Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and recently I've been thinking about Khorne, mostly because I'd played a game of Warhammer Fantasy Battle and got my butt handed to me by a Khornate army. Now you might think why that made me think about Total War, but I was fairly impressed with the army loadout, specifically the characters, and it's something that I feel could be implemented in a certain way for Total War Warhammer 3. As you are aware, Khorne has a DLC coming up at the end of this year, alongside the Greenskins and the Ogres. The Khornate roster isn't too bad. I know some people might complain, and I understand why, considering it's one-dimensional, but that's essentially what Khorne is. They're anti-magic and they're melee-focused and they do it very well. Even I have a lot of fun with Skarbrand, but one issue is the Lord and the Hero options. This next DLC is likely going to introduce Lord and Hero options, and I don't imagine that we will see some type of Shaman for Khorne, mostly because, well, it's not really a thing in Warhammer Fantasy Battle, but it is in Age of Sigmar. Now, we do have two mortal characters, which is essentially just the basic, but also what Khorne has, the Chaos Lord of Khorne and the Exalted Hero of Khorne. Again, mortal, not the demons. And they are pretty good, you know, they use dual weapons, they're quite well armored, they're very good at killing stuff, it's one of the benefits of Khorne. But what if something was done to them, a rework per se, to make the Khorne Lord and Hero drastically different to all the others, to make Khorne as unique as possible? This is so you can play your Khorne armies and not feel incredibly limited in terms of Lord and Hero options, having some variety coming in with the same type of characters. But before anything, a big thank you to our sponsor, Instant Gaming. Instant Gaming is a platform where you'll be able to buy keys for a massive amount of different video games at a discounted price. This means that, yeah, if you want to pick up a number of games this month, you can actually get them at a much cheaper point. This is 7 Days to Die, Fallout 4, just in case you want to play Fallout London, which, by the way, I've been having a freaking blast with. It is absolutely amazing, and a host of other different video games. Making a purchase using the link below supports the channel at no extra cost to you. Not only that, but we do have a monthly giveaway going on, hosted by our friends at Instant Gaming. Win the game of your choice. All you have to do is make an account and sign up. You don't have to make a purchase or anything, and you can pick out the title that most speaks out to you. This is a pretty fun thing. We've been doing this on a monthly basis. Again, very much appreciative of our friends at Instant Gaming. As you are aware, there has been a Total War drought recently in terms of content. We have to wait until December, but that doesn't mean that bills are going to stop until then. So thank you to our friends at Instant Gaming. Now let's return to our regularly scheduled programming. Now you might be wondering how the Chaos Lord of Khorne and the Exalted Hero of Khorne can be made into a very unique way where they will be similar but very different to the other optional Chaos Lords that you have access to when you're playing as any of the Chaos factions or any of the Monogod factions. And it's actually very simple. We take a page from Daniel. While I don't like Daniel as a character because player inserts in fantasy games are just a bit weird for me, especially when it comes to Warhammer, there's one thing that was introduced with Daniel that I very much love: the item swapping. This is a system where as you play your campaign, you'll be able to pick up a variety of different items and have a little bit of fun. Tailor the character to your heart's content. Now, I'm not saying something this stylized for a generic Lord and Hero, because obviously when it comes to a legendary Lord, yes, it should be massive, but it could be done in a much smaller scale, yet still provide a lot of playability for the Chaos Lords. So while you can have 5 different Chaos Lords in 5 different armies, yeah, they could all play in a very different sense when it comes to the battlefield. Nothing else should change drastically about them, because at the end of the day, they're still Chaos Lords of Khorne. Another thing why I think that this should be used in some way, shape, or form is because it's a very stylized mechanic. It's a shame if it's only going to be used once. The great thing here is I can show you this in practice, as we do have a wonderful mod known as the Norscan Build Your Own Chaos Lord, which allows for more or less what I envision for a Chaos Lord of Khorne. Now with this, I'd say remove head, torso, cape, legs, and talisman, because at the end of the day, they should have the normal items to be implemented, and the armor wouldn't really change. But let's see one fully kitted out, you know, looking really dashing as he does. Now, this is a generic Chaos Lord of Khorne. Let's just use that as an example, right? We can switch around the weapons. So it would be kind of nice if there was weapon options, not different items in terms, as you can see here, where you might have 5 different axes, shields and stuff, but rather you have the option of an axe and shield, dual weapons, great weapons, halberd and shield, halberd alone. The idea here is to be able to switch out your weapons, so just in case you need a more defensive Chaos Lord of Khorne, why not have that? The army that I faced on the tabletop had a number of exalted heroes, and they were kitted out to the nines. Some of them were focused on heavy damage, the other ones were focused on great weapons. The idea there was a different type of weapon has different uses, and it's a shame that we don't have weapon swaps for a faction which really could make a lot of use of that. You could be able to have your Khorne armies tailored exactly to how you want it. Not only that, but it would benefit Valkyria, because she's a mono-god style warriors of Chaos faction, or even if you're playing as one of the undivided ones, right? So Archeon, Kolek, and so on. It's something which differentiates the Lord options from the other mono-god factions because they have different laws of magic. Khorne has no magic, so you should focus very heavily on being the melee faction that was always intended. I think something like this would make a lot of sense. I did ask a bunch of modders if this would be entirely possible, not in the style of the Norskin and Daniel, but a stripped down version of that, and they said, yeah, they could see it being done. Obviously, Creative Assembly would have better facilities for that because they have the, well, you know, source code and so on and so forth. There's a few ways that CA can go around this. One is you'll get your characters, you'll level them up as normal, and you'll automatically start unlocking weapon options. This would be very much, well, identical to the way of mounts. I think something like this could work. You'll start off with dual weapons as normal, and then level 5 unlock, I don't know, sword and shield, or axe and shield. Level 7 unlock the halberd, level 8 unlock the great weapon or whatever. I'm just throwing out random numbers here, right? But the idea is it will feel like progression, and if you don't want to switch to that, you can go back, you can play around with it. It's having the options there because a lot of people do actually play around with the items, and this would be a very similar way. It's similar how people decide, oh yeah, I don't want to use the Juggernaut at the moment, I want to use the Chariots or whatever. This is why I'm saying that the weapon options could literally be on the right hand side where the character is. So you see on the left hand side you've got the mount, on the right hand side you've got the weapon options, and that means that you'd still keep magic items, you still keep the auxiliaries, everything is there as expected. You just have a little extra thing to play around with. Something so small, yet it would drastically change people's gameplay. Now you might be saying, well, this would require a lot of work and animation and so on. From what I've asked from modders, the basic rig for the Chaos Lords is all very much the same, where the rig and the animation is just kind of reused, and that's actually a good thing. As you can see here, we've got a bunch of different lords and heroes, all from the melee focus, and I finally had a reason to use the new feature that Creative Assembly introduced a few patches ago, allowing for multiple lords to be used in the same army. And the perfect example would be the generic undivided Chaos Lord. You know, it's got an axe and a shield, and yeah, you just put the Khorne skin on it, you're done. Same thing with the great weapons, you know. Khorne has them as units too. Khorne is the only one for the Chaos Warrior factions or Monogod factions that has all the different weapon types that were available to Chaos Warriors to fluff up their roster a little bit more. So, I mean, same thing could be done here, just to have those options, but rather than, you know, different individualized Chaos Lords, which is something that I think the High Elves kind of have, well, just have weapon swapping. Weapon swapping should be a thing. It's something that, in all honesty, would work very well with all the factions, all the different races. But the thing is that that would require a lot more work, because a lot more would have to go into different types of like elves and so on. Yet for Chaos Lords, for Khorne specifically, who is going to feel rather lacking in terms of options, yeah, something like this I feel would work really, really well. It won't change Khorne's gameplay drastically, but little quality of life stuff like this would make them a little bit more fun to use. They're still fun as they stand, by the way. I'm not like complaining. I really enjoy Scarbrand's campaign, but, you know, I'm expecting that the FLC Legendary Lord for Khorne will be mortal focused, so it would be nice to have this option, maybe even as part of the Khorne rework in a sense, where it's not part of the DLC, it's free for everyone to use, so you don't pick up the new DLC, you can still have the option for it. So the reason why I'm talking about this now, other than, you know, getting my ass handed to me by a really powerful tabletop army, oh my god, is because if you've noticed a few weeks ago when Creative Assembly started doing their showcase stuff, we saw stuff for the Ogres, and they showed some concept for Skulltaker, the Legendary Lord for the paid side of the DLC, but they didn't really talk a lot about Khorne, and they didn't really talk a lot about the Greenskins either, so it's likely that they're still like writing up ideas and so on. So I just wanted to do that video, throw it out into the wind. If Creative Assembly are listening, cool. If they like the idea, even better. If it's possible, amazing. I'm just hoping that Khorne gets a little bit of love and attention, because I was a bit worried that Khorne might feel a little bit screwed because of how Khorne is in the lore, and I don't want them to go against the lore, because yes, lore trumps gameplay here. I know I've said a few times that it shouldn't, but when it comes to a faction identity, it should always remain like that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion. I know a lot of people aren't too keen on Khorne, but I am. I think when Immortal Empires came out, I really got into Khorne. Champions of Chaos adding in a few additions, and obviously everything that came alongside it just made them so much better. So I'm hoping they get a little bit of love, you know. It's going to tide me over until we get a Sinesh DLC in, like, God knows when. But yeah, more Chaos DLC, more Chaos, quality of life changes and stuff. It's always really good. While the Shadows of Change update wasn't great, it did add in a bunch of Chaos stuff, which I very much appreciate. And obviously Thrones of Decay did an amazing job for the Nurgle faction, even for just Festus alone. So I want the same kind of attention here. But yeah, have a great day, guys. I'll see you all again very, very soon. If you're wondering, yes, I am going to replicate that Chaos Warrior list for my own purposes for a battle report, because, oh my god, I don't think a tabletop battle had made me sweat so much as that one did, because, oh my god, the moment they got into combat, oh boy. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you all again very, very soon.